episode of Conversations with Karen and Kat. I am Karen Scott Green.
And I'm Kat Hardrick.
And we are here today with a very special guest, our very own Gwinnett County District Attorney, Patsy Austin Gaston. And Patsy made history in 2020 when she became the first African American and first female district attorney in Gwinnett County. So we are very, very excited. For Patsy taking time out of her very busy schedule to sit down and just have conversation with us. I met Patsy when I was on the campaign trail. We weren't on the campaign trail at the same time, but I would see her at events, and she's always been very gracious to impart knowledge and just to, just be supportive. And when I would ask questions about how do you do this? How do you run a countywide campaign?
That's right. Same thing. I met you on my campaign trail when I ran in my municipal race. And so very down to earth, very approachable, and that's what we need as a DA.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, she's definitely a DA that you could sit down, talk to, express what your concerns are, and she listens.
That's right.
That much I do know.
And take action.
That's true. That's important.
Very important. So speaking of which, can you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and your journey to where you are today?
Sure. Well, I'll start with family. I'm the youngest of 6 siblings. And sometimes being the youngest, you know how you have to fight sometimes.
I'm the baby of 3.
You know,
I'm the baby of 8.
Baby of 8. Yeah, so we're special people. Being the babies, we're special.
That's right.
So I just have 3 children. I have a husband and 4 grandbabies. So that is my world right there. That's my therapy when I leave the office.
How old are your grands?
Grands, I have a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old who's about to be 5, the 3-year-old's about to be 4, and then 2 babies. And they both turned 1.
That's such a fun age.
Yeah, they are fun. They are fun. And with school getting started back, it's all about the kids. When it boils down to it, everything we do is about them.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So speaking of husband, every time I would see you out at an event, your husband would always be with you. So I see that you have a helpmate, and he's very involved in the things that you do as far as like when you're out in the community.
Sometimes, you have to bring them back a little bit. Okay. But at the same token, he's been a very helpful person, and in my campaigns, and of course in life. We all kind of need that, and if you don't have it, you have good sisters you're around, or other family members. We all need somebody that's gonna be in our corner that we can vent with.
And I bet those conversations are awesome because he is in the sheriff's department.
Right. He retired from the sheriff's office, and right now he's chief investigator with the solicitor's office.
Okay, yeah. So you being the DA and his background, how are those conversations?
Well, you talk shop a lot.
Oh yeah. Sometimes it's a different type thing. Like when we first got married, he used to use this term that I hated, and I just talked him out of using it, like calling 1013s nut rounds. I'm like, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's not do. And I'm sorry I told on him. He has evolved.
We all have to grow.
And part of that too is, I think, in some law enforcement offices, they are getting more educated and learning how to be responsive when they do come in contact with someone that has mental health issues.
Right.
That's right.
Because even in Gwinnett County, Gwinnett County now is doing a lot of training.
Thank goodness.
Mental health.
Yes.
We have a mental health task force.
Right. I know the GCPD has a mental health unit, so does the sheriff's department, and I think all of our agencies are coming in line with that, because so much of what we deal with has to do with mental health.
Right. Mental health and substance abuse. Absolutely.
Yes. So speaking of your office, can you tell our viewers exactly what you do and how you serve the community?
Well, our first task, of course, is to prosecute felony cases. And that's what happens in our office. We have the ADAs, assistant district attorneys, we have the managing ADAs, and we prosecute these cases that come to us. So basically, I got an email from a citizen one time when he told me that I should make more charges, and the case really had not even gotten into our office.
Wow.
So people have to understand, just because you see something on the news, you see someone arrested, it's not automatically, immediately inside my
There's
office.
still another process.
Yes, yes. The PD pretty much puts out the warrants and they make the charges, and that comes through. Then once it gets to our office, we can add charges, or we can do with what we feel is appropriate. So yeah, that's what we do, is primarily prosecute cases. And what I'm trying to do is to be more community minded as a prosecutor's office. And we've done quite a few things since I've been in office that had never been done before. We just graduated our inaugural Junior DA Investigative Mentorship Program, and it was wonderful.
Congratulations.
Yes, it was just wonderful because, you know, I really feel that the youth are our future.
That's
right.
And we have to make sure they have hope, and they have, you know that we love them,
That's
we
right.
care about them, we want them to do well.
That's right.
So we really push that out, and we have several initiatives going also.
That's what I wanted you to
Yes,
talk
yeah.
about. You know, I talked a lot for a whole year and a half. I talked a lot about restorative justice practices, and stopping the school to prison pipeline.
Yes.
So I know that those are some things that you have been vocal about, and you've done some things. You started some things. So can you talk to us about
Sure. I'll start with our juvenile court. I'm hoping that we can grow that program, but what we are doing is pulling some youth out of that system and working with them in a 6-month program where they go through certain modules and training, and we work with the family and just trying to get them not to keep going down that road.
Okay.
Because once they go through juvenile court, we don't want to see them in superior court.
Right.
We want them to understand, let's get this right. So we have a program going there, and that's with the RISER program.
Yes.
Yes. So we're still keeping that moving. Would be wonderful if we could take even more youth in it. And we're very selective about the people that we do put in it, because we want them to be successful.
Correct.
And we also want to keep the community safe.
That's right.
And at the 17 to 28-year-old age range, we also have the RED program moving, and they're getting ready to graduate their inaugural class this December.
How many kids? How many kids are in the RISER program, and how many are in the RED program?
The RISER, since it goes like every 6 months, we've had a few cohorts go through already. At least I think 3 or 4 have already went through, and it just varies with the numbers. A class could be about 12, or it could be a little more or a little less. And with RED, it's Rehabilitation Enables Dreams. And I would ask if people are interested in making sure this program continues, that they go to RED Gwinnett, R-E-D Gwinnett, and it'll pop up, and there'll be like a button that they can help donate to that program. Because it's not cheap, but we don't want to charge the folks that go into it, because we don't want that to be a barrier.
Correct. That's right.
Are you getting any county funding for it?
Well, we're going to ask.
Okay. All right.
That's what we said. We're gonna try.
Yes, we're definitely going to be asking for it. And the RED program, that means Rehabilitation Enables Dreams, and they do a 12-month program.
Okay, that's good.
And so what we're doing is, making sure that we put right people in that one too. And we don't want to see people, go back through the system. We don't want recidivism. We want to prevent that. So we're working really hard on, different programming and things like that. But the most important thing, I think, in our community is to keep it safe.
Yes.
And that means you can't just do things the same old way. Do them a little differently, and keep a gauge on the community. We want the community to be safe. Not only just to feel safe, but to be safe.
Right.
So we're working really hard at that. I have a great team that we work with, and from investigators to the attorneys that work there, our legal assistants, our victim witness folks, really hardworking people that care about our community.
So what is the balance? And I know, because when you start talking about criminal justice reform, restorative justice practices, some folks think that means you just want to open up the jails and let everybody out.
Right.
Because I heard that when I was talking about it, and people are like, oh, you're a liberal, I can never vote for a liberal judge. Like, but so, how do you balance that kind of talk from folks who want to just lock everybody up, like throw the book at them, to being fair and making sure that like first-time offenders and folks who don't have violent crimes actually get a second chance? How do we balance that?
Well, we have to, because you cannot lock everyone up. You cannot do that. I mean, we have already a very high incarceration rate in the state of Georgia. And unless we're willing to be proactive and think outside the box, it's not sustainable. So basically, of course, like I said earlier, our first and foremost function is for safety and accountability.
Yes.
There are some things that
you don't hear too many leaders say that word. Accountability.
But it's true, because even with these young people who go through these programs, there's accountability.
Yes.
Like it's not easy work. Like there are things that they have to do to be a part of that program, or they're going back on the docket.
Yes, exactly. So that's what we try to do. We hold people accountable. Sometimes that means a trial. Sometimes it means a plea bargain, or either it could mean that they get placed in one of the pre-trial diversion programs. So we work really hard, and that is first and foremost. We want to catch people in these programs before they've stepped over that line way too far. And then at that point, we just hope for the best for them, because when you think about it, even people that offend, they have families.
That's right.
And guess what? When they come out of jail, they're coming back to the
same community.
That's right.
So more has to be done.
Yeah, I was also did a study, about the study with the prisons, and Atlanta has a prison that has been found to treat people just horribly. So how do you feel about that when you're doing everything you can to help people? When they do come out, they can come back into society, be respected. I mean, we still are human beings. And people make a mistake, and we are greater than our worst mistake. And so we have to give people a second chance. But if you're in a facility that's treating you inhumanely, how are we going to kind of help them break that cycle and come back into society and be productive? So how do you approach that? Well,
that's really past what I do, but I am involved somewhat. So we just hope that the powers that are setting these things up, this is from the governor's office on down, and the people that run these facilities. I took a tour of the facility that is in our jurisdiction. And it's very clean. Of course, I get the tour, they're not going to show me the bad stuff. But at the same token, they know that we want people to be treated fairly there. So, because if we don't do that, like I said earlier, people are going to come back out from those institutions. And I think families have to be aggressive in the sense that if they know something's happening, don't be quiet about it. I always say to people, see something, say something. Let's not be silent about it, because there's work to go around. And I know there's some great organizations that help out at that level in the prisons, and they do things to help families get to go there to visit. I think that's very important. That defendants, inmates in jail should have visitations from their family to keep them connected. And then we do have a transition center here in Gwinnett County Gordon Johnson runs that, where they have been doing training for people to transition back into the community. All of that's important.
Yes.
And we need more of it.
Right.
We need more.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, as budgets get tighter and legislatures and counties start looking for ways to cut money, rehabilitative programs are things that get cut. So we, as Joe citizens, have to make sure that it stays. You know, that we're elected people in the legislature and on the county level. You know, and in because municipalities sometimes have jails as well. That we are electing people who want to make sure that every person who is incarcerated, either in the state system or in the county system, that they're treated with dignity.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
All jails have oversight. Like there are people who come in who's supposed to be. They're supposed to have oversight. They're supposed to have oversight.
Accountability.
Yeah.
That's a big word.
Yeah.
They have to be accountable too.
So we have to make sure that the legislatures
That's right.
Yes.
are in check.
That's right.
And that they're checking on those sort of things. Because we can't just lock people up and then throw away the key. Well, what are they going to do when they get out in 5 years, 2 years, 10 years?
Reoffend. They'll reoffend. When they come out of prison, they should have some skills and a skill set that when they come out, they can be productive.
Right.
And there has to be a way, I think, that if people are being, good citizens, after a while, we need to make sure their records are cleaned up, even if they've done jail time.
That's right.
So I think that comes down the road, and probably some studies need to be done, but we definitely need to not have a situation like jail is a revolving door. We want people to be productive in the community and stay in the community.
Right. And feel like you're a part of the community.
Yes.
If you don't feel like you belong, then why would you pour into it?
And here's the thing, somebody has a felony conviction. Some apartment buildings, they can't rent that. You're automatically excluded from public housing if you have a felony.
Yes.
So if you have a child that's gotten a felony and you live in public housing, your child can't come back and live in that house with you. Or if you have a spouse who's gotten a felony conviction, they can't come back and live in that. And in some apartment complexes, if you've had a felony within the last 10 years, they will not rent to you. I was shocked when I learned that. So, like, what are we telling people? Okay, you've done your time. You paid your debt to society. Now what? There's already employers who are not going to hire you.
Yes. So
where's the grace? We're a Christian nation. Where's the grace?
Right.
Well, we have to know that there's work to be done. Like I said, there are some nonprofits out here that are really working hard on that, and we have to make it important to the people that we do elect that we have programs in place for folks that they can rehabilitate and go back and become contributing members of our society, because we all have a right to live, breathe, and be free. If they've done their time, then we need to not set them up so that they get sent back. So we need to work on that. And you want people to do the right thing. I think, like I said before, it comes down to family. A lot of things really revolve around that. And that family's really the first level where we know when something's wrong. Everybody knows when something's wrong with someone in their family. And should that person, the red flag laws and different things should be in place so that families can tell folks, this is what's going on with my family member. He has 10 guns. He doesn't need to have those. I really wish.
18.
Yes. 18. Exactly.
In your house.
Those are things we have to work on. And then what I say to family is, don't sit there and feel like you're all alone suffering on your own. Reach out. Gwinnett County is a wonderful county where we have so many resources and things here. If you reach out and you speak with someone, there's some group or organization or there's some funding that can help you.
With that, please, can you say some of those organizations or a contact that people can go to?
Well, contact us in the DA's office.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
one of the things our victim witness folks do. They keep
Okay.
track of resources and things like that. So if someone has a need, just reach out and ask to talk to victim witness. You need some resources, because we do that when we know someone has been a victim of a crime. We'll connect them with different resources and things like that. And then Gwinnett County overall has I wish I had brought it, but I'll make sure that y'all get a copy of it. They do have a resource.
Like a resource guide?
Yes,
Okay,
like a
that's
resource
good.
guide.
It's probably on your website too, huh?
Well, we'll put it on there. We'll get it on
You
there.
mentioned earlier about pretrial diversion. Can you talk a little bit about what pretrial diversions are, how they work, and the ones that are already currently working in Gwinnett?
Okay. Well, when I came into office, there already was a pretrial diversion program. So when I came in office, I said, well, we want to make sure that across the 11 court divisions that we're allowing people to enter the pretrial diversion program consistently. The same type of crimes should be hitting, you know, all of those courts.
Because different courtrooms were receiving different results.
Yes,
Oh,
and that's
really?
something that we don't want. You know, we want to be consistent, because that's important. How we present to the public, that we're being fair and consistent, you know, overall, not just certain cases. You know, all of them that are lined up like they are should all get the same treatment. So that's one of the first things that I did when I went into office, that it has to touch each division.
All judges having buy-in.
Yes. So, you know, we work with our judges, and they are the same way. They don't want to see an innocent person go to jail. Or they don't want to just throw away the key on people. They want to give second chances too. So we do have a group of judges that are of that same ilk that would like to see that. And then folks just sometimes have to be patient with us, because we're not only dealing with you know, the COVID backlog, we're also dealing with pre-COVID, which is I'm dealing with in the office.
That were already lingering.
Right. So we're trying to work on that so that folks are not just sitting around waiting so long. So we're working and digging down. This is the year to try to get that done.
So we've got pretrial diversion, and there's also some accountability court.
Yes, we have mental health accountability court. We have the veterans court. There's even a DUI court, things like that. So there are many opportunities for a person to rehabilitate without having to go to prison. That's a good thing.
That's very good. Yeah. So in your role, I know you faced some challenges. But what are some of those challenges that you overcame that have made you a better leader?
That'll make me think about that. Well, I think first coming into office, when you're coming into office, you're the new person from someone that had been there for 28 years. I think it's akin
Like that's
to
a whole generation.
It's a whole generation. So you have to have patience with the people, because to me it's akin to a death. You know, it's like, and you know those cycles people have to go through if there's a death. So we definitely went through cycles. So you give people time, be patient with them. You know, others couldn't really deal with it, and they left the office.
It was too much change.
Yeah, it was too much change for some people. But sometimes, you know, change is good.
That's right.
You know, we have to evolve. And I think that was one of the major things that I had to deal with starting out, is getting my team together. You know, and then being able to be understanding to people that were with the previous administration, and you know they have very valuable information. It's like that institutional knowledge that's so important that we keep in the office, and I'm thankful for those that did stay and that are willing, you know, to work with the office and make it good. It's all about our community.
That's right. That's right. I believe in that. As long as you focus on your community and everything else.
Right. It's not about me.
That's right.
You know, it's not about me. It's about us working hard for this community. That's the bottom line.
Because that everyone in that office should have the same goal to make Gwinnett safer, to make sure that the folks who have committed crimes have, you know, a fair and just trial, and you know, receive the treatment that's you know, the sentence that's appropriate.
Correct.
And the support they need, that they don't repeat.
And then, you know, being able to collaborate, you know, with the agencies that are there, because we all really do have the same goal, is keeping the community safe. And we want people just to understand that that's what we're there for. You know, this is their community, and they put us in place, you know, to take care of what our responsibilities are.
That's right. That's right. Your office is very diverse too.
Oh, yes.
It represents Gwinnett County.
Most definitely. We have a map in our office with little pins. I ask people to put their pins where they live, and it's like, I'm like, we got somebody here from Alaska, from this place, from different countries. I'm like, ooh, this is nice.
That's good.
One of our ADAs, he's a managing ADA. He's about to get sworn in as a U.S. citizen.
Oh, wow.
Yep, from the UK. So I'm just like, okay, we got diversity happening.
That's right. That's right. You represent the county.
How many attorneys are in your office?
We have about 52 attorneys.
Okay, that's a good size.
We have about 43 investigators. We have victim witness, you know, a whole department there, and then the whole department of our legals. So we're a pretty good sized office.
Okay, a staff of how many?
Approximately 152, 53 people.
Okay. That's a lot of bodies.
Okay, so I hear you saying a lot. You know, I'm agreeing to that. So in comparison, like, what do you mean when you say there's a lot of bodies? Like a lot of attorneys? I understand what you mean, but compared to a different county and a different size of that?
Right. Well, Gwinnett County, as we know, is practically at 1 million people right now. I was reading something the other day. It said we're 20,000 people shy of being 1 million.
Yes.
Yeah.
So because we have such a large county, we need to be able to have a large enough staff to service everyone. And then when you think about the school system, we have 180,000 kids in the public school. That's bigger than some other jurisdictions for their whole jurisdiction. That's just the students. Wow. Yes.
Yeah. Now, I wanted to go back to something you said about your work with the Juvenile Court. How motivated have you found the judges to be in wanting to implement these programs?
Wonderful.
Okay.
Wonderful.
That's good.
That's good.
Wonderful, because you know, we work together, and they want to see young juveniles have another chance. That's what juvenile court's all about. And they have been very supportive.
Awesome.
That's
very
really good. That's
awesome.
really good.
And I think they've even started some programs of their own. I have to really find out what that's all about. But I look at it like this. There's so much work to be done. It's enough for all of us to keep working and working and working.
Now, are there any initiatives that you want to implement that you haven't gotten a chance to implement that's coming down the line that you want to talk about?
Well, that's amazing you would ask me that question now. I just met this morning with a restorative justice group. And we're just looking at what that would entail, how that would work, and how we would help people come to reconcile. Because when we did the Junior DA, Junior Investigative Mentorship Program, every day I told them I want our young people to be getting training on, first of all, motivation. And then second of all, conflict resolution. And I think people pulling out.
Yes. And we don't all have to knuck if you buck.
Right, that's okay.
Right.
So that program, I think, we're just exploring right now to see what we could do in that area. And the other area, I should have asked them that today, so I'll probably follow up with them. I would love for us to meet with young people that are finding themselves being drawn to gangs and keep them from going into them.
That's right.
You know, because I look at it like this: if they're trying to make themselves belong and feel belong, then we have failed as a community.
Right.
So we have work to do.
We actually met an officer who came out to our house a couple of months back because we had a little incident at our house, and a Gwinnett County police officer came out. And I wish I had his name, but I can't think of it at the top of my head. He was actually really great. And on his own time, he works with young people who are getting involved in gangs, and he works with young people who live over off of Highway 78 in the extended stay motel. Right, he goes over there and he spends time with them.
Great. That's good.
That might be somebody good.
That's absolutely, because that's what we do. People in the community.
But
That's right.
you know that's even though he's a police officer, he is part of the community, recognizing. Let's try to show these young people that there's a better alternative to being in the gang.
They're seen, they're heard, and they're valued. That's all. That's good.
That's what young people really want to know.
Yes.
So how can we, as Joe citizens and Jane citizens, how can we assist the DA's office? Like, what does the DA's office need from the community?
Well, I think that if the community sometimes would be a little more understanding, because it's a process. What we do is not instantaneous, and sometimes it takes a little longer, but we're really working on that so that people are not sitting around for years before their case comes up, but sometimes that's just part of it. And for the community to understand that the DA does not have like all the power. Sometimes, people think that when they think a case is unjust, and it's something that happened prior to me even coming in the office, that I can change that. But if there's been a jury trial, there's been appeals and things like that, a lot of times it's not anything I'm going to be able to do. So those things are, the community just has to know that we're working hard, and we're just trying to, keep everybody's best interests at heart. And I just wish there was more for our young people in our community. Just even more activities, not just sports, but more things for our young people to be involved in.
Absolutely. One of the things that when I was running, I love my seniors and legacy homeowners. We don't have any youth centers. So when I grew up, I'm from Detroit, and we used to go to this place, East Grand, and we would walk there. We would all stay out of trouble, and you have adults who poured into us, took some time out to show us some love, and then you go back home. You had your little wrap sandwich and a little piece of fruit and a little juice with the tin lid, But that was that. So we do have some nonprofits that are out there. So how can some of those nonprofits, we had a couple on the show, Boy with the Ball, Gwinnett Chat Outreach, other organizations that are working with young people, how can they partner with you? Because we have a lot of people that are doing the work with these young people.
But they're just not connected.
Right. So how can you get all these moving parts to kind of unify so we all can be moving the same direction?
Well, the group we met with earlier today, he said that they have a group called Unite, and maybe there has to be like an umbrella type group that can bring everyone together to kind of start doing that, so that this one's over here doing that. You don't have to duplicate it. Let's just come together and work together. There's plenty of work to do.
Because each entity is focused on something different. Like your age group is, you said, 17 to 28. Then somebody else may be from 13 to 17, and somebody else might be from elementary. Now we have everybody in these lanes. Now we can actually move forward with showing our young people that we see you, and you are valuable, and we're going to put all our forces behind you.
I say the more the better.
That's right.
If we're all working and to help our young, it's so much work to do. I mean, I don't necessarily mean to stay in lanes, but there's so many, it's so many.
That's what I'm saying.
So many.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So all of us going in the same direction. But your specialty is what I'm saying. If my specialty might be, 9 and 10-year-olds who are mentoring, then let me partner with you. So if you see any 9 and 10-year-olds, you can say, okay, ABC organization, or what I know now, yes, you can contact, the DA's office. They have these great programs and so forth. Because if we all in a database together, then these parents will have resources. Because some people just don't know where to go.
That's true. Because Gwinnett sometimes is so daunting because it's big. People don't think there's help. And really, we are a family in that sense that if they reach out, they'll find the help.
I just saw on Facebook the other day where Gwinnett County Schools had posted that they are starting after-school programs at something like 20-something of their elementary schools. They're going to have after-school programs. They're not free, but still, when I looked at the price of it, it's still cheaper than going to, you know, like a corporate daycare or after-school care. And I thought to myself, wouldn't it be great if they had something like that for middle school, where they could maybe keep the gym open after school and then have some organized activities? Because middle school is where you really start to, where you can really start to use kids.
That's right.
So you know, maybe that's something we need to go to school for.
That's right. But
I think that's a really pivotal age, catching them at middle school, because they're coming home by themselves, getting off the bus and, you know, or walking home from school, and maybe there's nobody there, but if they had something that could keep them at school for a couple of hours. Because now
that would help the parents a lot.
Really or a different program or something that's free, and like you said, the parents with transportation, you want to remove all those barriers that you can move, you know, and then ask for that money, because you know it's money out there. We just need to get that funding, to get that support.
Amen. It's there.
Yeah, that's right. So how do people get in contact with you again?
With your office.
With your office. Yeah, right. Let me be clear on that.
Well, they can look us up online. I get a lot of emails from people, and they can reach out. I have for the first time, a community outreach person. His name is Terrell Patrick. Yes, they can call the switchboard and ask for him.
He's so nice.
Yes, he's very good. He's good at what he does. And you know, we're just trying to be here to be a resource and a help to the community. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all. And I'm glad to hear that there are a lot of organizations willing to work with our youth. Because even when we open these type things up, we still need adults there. Like
That's
you said.
right. Yes.
Yeah, we still need adults around, because, you know, unfortunately, you'll see situations where kids are at these kind of facilities and a big fight breaks out and somebody gets hurt. So we need adults even in situations where they're out, you know, playing, and a lot of rough housing can go on and kids can get hurt, but we have to be there to support them. Like I said, it's a lot of work for us to do, but I love meeting young people. I love talking to them. I met a group of rising 9th graders recently, and they're just so wonderful. It gives you a lot of hope. You know, it gives you a lot of hope. And even when I was on the campaign trail, when the George Floyd situation took place, we had, you know, a lot of areas in Gwinnett County where young people were coming out and protesting, and just to see the variety of all of the kids and their passion, that gives me hope to see them and see them really working hard, because we have to hold this up. And when you think about climate change, I'm so glad that legislation is going through in D.C. So, you know, when you have fires and floods and things, we have so much work to do.
We have a lot of work to do.
Speaking of work to do, are there any opportunities for, if anyone's interested in volunteering at the DA's office? Are there any programs that you would need bodies to help you with?
Well, I think if they follow our page, our Facebook page, and maybe I think they're doing the Instagram and things like that, we'll advertise maybe for things like that we need. We do internships, you know, primarily with like law students. We do have some college internships that will have people come in at that point to work for it.
I do want to ask you, you are a busy lady. What do you do? What is your go-to favorite self-care moment? What is your practice to help you stay level?
Well, I did a picture wall. I have all my grandbabies. That's where I go to. You know,
she's passionate about children.
Did you create your sacred space? Is that your sacred space?
Yes.
I got that.
So I have them on my wall. I get to look at their smiling faces, and I'm holding them. My husband's holding them. It's really, their parents have like 1 or 2 pictures. The rest is about my grandbabies.
Right. You're like, who are those people?
They had 20-something years to be on your wall. Now it's about the
It's time to change.
Yeah, I call it my therapy wall.
That's right. That's right. And that's very important to know. You know,
Yeah.
people need to know that we all reach stress, and we need to know tools and how to manage that stress.
Yes. And it's for everybody's a little bit
Yeah,
different.
because you have to balance. I mean, you're balancing. You're the district attorney of like the largest county in Gwinnett.
20,000
in the state.
Yep.
And
Close. Yeah, we're close. I think Fulton is really a hair above us right now.
Yeah.
As far as population.
managing the staff, married, adult children, grandkids.
First to get a college degree in your family.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, you did a little research.
That's a lot of balls to keep in the air. So you do have to have some self-care, or something will drop.
Yes, yes, because your body. I mean, if you get a little bit of exercise and you're reading and things that you like to do, I think that's important for everybody. And I'm a coffee drinker, so.
If I'd known that, I'd have had some.
I had a coffee just before I got here, so I'm good now. Thank you.
I'm a coffee and tea drinker, but I tend to drink tea.
And tea's good at night. I like
it.
I get it at every now and then. I'll do it at night because for some reason it just I'm dealing with COVID weight. It helps with that.
We're not gonna talk about.
No, we're not gonna talk about that.
Look, I'm a health coach. Look, whenever you're ready.
Okay.
So what's one positive last thing you'd like to tell our viewers? Leave you with the last positive moment.
Well, just understand we're here to be of service. That's what we're here for. And I thank you ladies for having me to talk about this. It's so good because that's what it's all about. Let's communicate, and people have questions, please let us know. Okay?
Thank you so much, Patsy.
Thank y'all.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Conversations with Karen and Kat.
Where we're impacting the world one conversation at a time.